Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Shelton, and this week we are going to be working on learning about how different fabrics have different textures and different colors and patterns and things on them. So like if you notice the shirt that I'm wearing today, even though it's one color, it has texture. If you look at it, it kind of has like these lines in it and these bumpy lines. So even though it's soft, when I touch it, it's a little bit bumpy. That's what we call texture. Texture is the way something feels. And it's also a little bit the way something looks. Like you can imagine how it's going to feel by just simply looking at it. So I have a story posted this week, and it's called The Princess and the Pea. And it's about an African prince looking for an African princess. And in the book, it really focuses on, obviously the prince looking for the princess. But if you take a look at the clothing that they're wearing, it's beautiful, bright colors. So for example, I've drawn the prince in this one, and you guys can kind of see his different colors of his clothing, different textures, different patterns on his clothing. So everything is all kind of different. So when you see the clothing in the story, you're going to notice that everything that they're wearing is bright, beautiful, bold colors. And you can kind of imagine how they might feel if you were able to touch them in the story. So I have also drawn a princess, okay? And we've made this beautiful headpiece and the scarf that's coming down. In the story, you'll see that there are some excuse me, necklaces or neck pieces. And then her dress is all these different layers of fabrics and different patterns and beautiful bright colors. So your job today is going to be, after you watch the book, I would like you guys to draw either the prince or the princess out of the story. And I want you to be as creative as you can, creating some sort of beautiful outfit for them, okay? So you can imagine that if you were the prince, you might be wearing like this big robe or jacket that would have all these different beautiful colors. You might be wearing a scarf around your neck. You may have a beautiful colored belt around your robe, some sort of headpiece. You can be as creative as you want. And if you are the princess, you can really elaborate again on the headpiece that she might wear. Please give her some sort of hairstyle. You can either make her hair down, you can make it in braids. In the story, her hair is kind of like blowing in the wind in some of the parts of the book. And you can kind of imagine like the way her hair might feel and the texture of her hair. In some of the pictures, she has braids, and some it's just blowing in the wind. So please give your prince or your princess some sort of hairstyle. And again, the book is about an African prince and an African princess. So I would like you to make these people look African. And that is also, giving them the correct skin color, okay? I noticed on mine that I forgot to give my prince some hair. So I'm going to give him some hair, and I'm going to show it to you, okay? So you can see how I kind of added this dark hair on top, and you can give him any kind of hairstyle that you want. That is up to you. That is where I want to see your creativity. So the best way is you can use crayons, you can use markers, you can use color pencils, you can use whatever you have to color with. I happen to have some markers, so I'm going to go ahead and start. And it takes a really long time to draw all of this, so I'm just going to give you some tips on how to get it started. That way I'm not sitting and drawing the whole entire thing on the video, okay? So I'm going to get a piece of paper. Doesn't matter what color. I happen to have a white paper, and I just attached mine to the board so that I can hold the board up to show you. And I'm going to start by making the head. And I just made a circle on my page like that. and I made it higher up on my page so that I have room for the body and the clothing. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna color the face in. And while I'm coloring the face in, and I'm gonna use brown because my person is African. Okay. And I think I am going to go ahead and I'm going to make mine a princess, you know, and feel like you can do both if you want. If you might want to make a prince and a princess, please do. And I like to start by kind of mapping out the body. So with this one, I kind of outlined her clothes. So when I drew her dress, I broke it up into sections because I knew I wanted to use a lot of different colors and a lot of different patterns on my dress. So I broke it up into sections. I gave her a really long neck. It looks like a tall neck because I wanted to leave enough room for the beautiful jewelry that she had on her neck. So I'm gonna start by, oops, covering my paper up, by giving her a neck like this. I made 2 lines right there. So that allows me enough room to add a few necklaces. And then I'm going to draw a line across like this. So I have a line like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of outline her dress. I give her arms. And I broke my dress up into sections. So I know that looks like a really short shirt, but then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna draw 1 layer of her dress like this. And it's still pretty short and I want it to cover my whole page. So I'm gonna draw some flowy lines. They kind of flow down and I'm gonna have my dress come all the way to the ground. You can decide what you want because when I drew my prince, I drew his shorter so you can kind of see his legs sticking out from underneath. So again, it's all in how you want. So I have my dress mapped out, but I'm not going to color it in yet. I'm going to start from the top and I'm going to add a beautiful headpiece on her. And be sure to use as many different colors as you can. I know not everybody has a ton of colors at home, but if you do, try to use all of them. So I kind of made this kind of a rainbow line and connected it to start with the first part of her headpiece. Okay, and then I'm gonna build on that. So I have that headpiece and I might take a minute to go ahead and build on this. And what I'm saying by building on this is that it's gonna take a lot of time to color it in. So you can kind of draw it out first, how you want, and then go back and color in. So now I've kind of made those rainbow lines on top and I'm building. And now I want to have this long flowy fabric coming down here. It looks like it's going to be hair in the beginning, but it's not going to be her hair. I'm going to add her hair close. So I have short hair, so mine doesn't come down to my shoulders, but in the book, it appears that the princess has longer hair. So I'm going to draw my fabric, but I'm going to leave room to add her beautiful flowy hair, okay? And again, like I said, you can give her different designs if you want to give her braids and add some beads and things, or if you want to leave her hair more natural and curly, you can do that. It's up to you to give her whatever type hairstyle that you would like. Okay, and I'm gonna hold this up in a second so you guys can kind of see how I've added some different guidelines for where I'm gonna color. Okay, so I started by building her headpiece. And if you see right here, I've added little lines for her necklace, okay? And then I'm gonna now add some outlines for the parts to her dress, okay? and really take your time and come up with a lot of cool designs on your fabric. Okay, you can add polka dots, you can add little lines, you can add zigzags, you can add waves, anything that is going to give your fabric some beautiful design and texture. And like I was talking about earlier, like my shirt, even though it's just one solid color, there's actually a texture to it. It's bumpy. But when you're looking at a picture, you want to be able to look at that picture and think like, oh, if that was in real life, if I touched the picture, I could kind of tell by visually looking at the fabrics how it's going to feel. So lots of detail. Really take your time. Okay. All right. So again, I'm going to show my lines and choose all different types of lines. Some of the lines are going to go horizontal, which is kind of a back and forth line. And some of the lines are going to go vertical, which are up and down. And you're going to see where I added different types of lines. I'm going to hold it up. Okay. So I've added some horizontal lines, some bumpy, some zigzag. Then I went to like some V lines because these are more diagonal lines that come down into a V shape. And then vertical lines, which are the up and down lines. Now, what I need to do, and don't forget, she has to have her hands. And remember, your hands are the same color as your face. I have makeup on my face, that's why my face is a little darker than my hands, but your hands are the same color as your face. So if you have a brown face, brown hands, peach face, peach hands, tan face, tan hands. And remember, again, she's an African princess, so please give her dark skin. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to kind of start coloring in my details. And I'm doing some patterns when I start to color in. So if you look at her headpiece, I've done orange, white, but I don't want to leave those white, so I'm going to choose another color. I think I'm going to use yellow. And then it becomes orange, yellow, orange, yellow. And I'm going to add patterns in those. So I'll hold them up so you can see. Please take your time on this. The more detail, the more beautiful. Okay. So you can see how I've done that. And when I'm done, I love, love, love to outline stuff because I feel like it just makes it pop. And usually I do a lot of outlining with a black marker, but today you can kind of choose all different. So I'm starting on that. The other little tricky part is I did color her face totally brown. When I add the details, I'm going to show you on my other sample, is the only downfall is that the eyes, see I have white in my eyes and then the dark. That's really what hers should have. So you can choose to leave that little area white if you want, or you can just kind of draw the details on top. So I've given her eyes, nose, mouth. You can go back in, and I think I'm actually going to add a little bit of pink and see if it shows up on top of my brown, slightly, but not a ton. It's a little bit difficult to draw on top of the brown, but I've added pink. So you guys don't have to sit and watch me color the whole entire thing on the video. Remember, take your time. I'm gonna hold this one up for a second so you can see all the details. I've added little gems, what appear to be gems on top of her headpiece, different patterns, textures, all the way down to the bottom. I've gone in, I've outlined everything. This one I outlined in pink. That's kind of a purplish pink. I would say more of a magenta color to kind of show that up a little bit. And then I've added all these different patterns in her fabric, trying to make everything different. And again, please remember that you can either draw a princess, this is the princess, or you can draw the prince. Be as creative as you want. Like I said, if you want to add more to his headpiece, you can add like details. So I colored this all in red, but I went on top with black and made different details on top of that fabric. Take your time, be creative. Don't forget to give them hair. Another little tip is that my prince, his hair doesn't come down over his ears, so make sure to give him ears or it will look like he's missing some body parts, okay? He's really, I didn't have room for his feet, so you just see the top part of his leg. Okay, sorry, that was a battery alert on my camera. So have fun, good luck, be creative, and don't forget to submit it under the blue star on my Bitmoji Classroom. Have fun, guys.